Buongiorno everyone, welcome back to Lineup Predictions here at the Magpie Channel TV. Sorry for the delay. If you were waiting at 7 o'clock, got stuck at work, had things to do. So sorry about that. So we're here now, just had to do a few little extra bits and bobs along the way as well. And in the meantime, while I've been waiting, I've learned that Eddie Howe won't be there tomorrow. So that's absolutely class. I need to boost my chair up a little. I feel like I'm looking a little bit short there. Just move the camera because I don't know how to adjust my chair. Oh, there it is. Oh, can I get up? Oh, there we are. There we are. That's better. I feel better. I feel tall. Yes, Eddie Howe, breaking news, will not be at St James's Park for his first game at the club tomorrow. Yes, Kenneth, you couldn't write this. Got the COVID test positive. Had the interview this morning, first team meeting. Keith Downey and all them there. And there it is there. Eddie Howe to miss first Newcastle game, if it zooms in, which it won't. So there it is. Breaking news 6 minutes ago. Eddie Howe will not be there. He will be replaced first team by Graham Jones and his assistant Jason Tyndall. They'll be taking charge of the game tomorrow. He'll be in regular contact though. They have mentioned that you will be speaking to them throughout the day, probably have a phone on them somewhere. So you'll take part. You'll have to say it at home or in a secure place somewhere. I haven't really read much into it, to be fair. Like I say, I've been a little bit busy then trying to sort this video out in the meantime. More to follow. So yeah, there's not too much being said, but I think Keith Downey was the one that said that, yeah, you'll be in contact with them. Where was that? Yeah, so he's not going to be there anyway, which is a massive, massive shame. Can't believe it. We've all been looking forward to this since he was appointed, ever since pretty much Steve Bruce got sacked. Whoever was going to start taking charge, we've all been looking forward to this game. Thankfully, it was a home game. We can be there at St James's. War Flags, I know, have sorted out a big banner. Going to have the Gallagher end dripped out. And he's not even going to be there. It's almost fucking laughable, man. This Newcastle United. Who could have wrote it? It's mental. But anyway, the game is sort of about Eddie Howe, but it's not. It's about Newcastle United and trying to get 3 points on the board. Whether it's Howe, Bruce Jones, or Ronald McDonald, Newcastle United need 3 points tomorrow, as we are the only team in the English leagues, plural, leagues, 92 teams throughout the English top flights, and Newcastle are the only one without a W on the board this season. Obviously, 19th, Norwich below us in 20th, just did take over us temporarily Saturday before last after they beat Brentford. So if Norwich can get 3 points, if they can get a win off the mark in the Premier League against Brentford, then why can't we? With, let's say, a full crowd St James's Park, we're all going to be pumped up. Yes, we're going to be disappointed that Eddie Howe's not there, but we've had training. He's been putting them through their paces this week, which is good. Like, they've been actually having somebody, well, not just this week, the week before, 2 weeks he's been in charge now. International break. Putting them through their paces, learning how to do tactics. Does anybody remember them? Tactics. Never done tactics for a while at Newcastle, so it should still be a great game. Let's say it's Brentford, who are 14th in the league at the minute. Started off the season really, really well so far. They've won 3, drawn 3, and lost 5. But 4 of those 5 have been in the last 5 games. Losses to teams in and around us like Norwich and Burnley. Lost to Leicester and Chelsea, which you can't really grumble at. Very good teams. And the last win 5 games ago came against West Ham, who are a very good team, tricky team as well. So good win there. Like I say, season started really, really brightly, but the last 4 games, 4 defeats, mainly to Norwich and Burnley, will maybe have dampened them a little bit. So they can be looking at us like it's a great treat for them. They can get back off the mark. They can start beating us like they did to West Ham to like get their confidence going. Like it's Newcastle, the only team in 92 teams without a win this season. So they're coming here to spoil the party. They're not coming here to celebrate Eddie Howe's first game or Newcastle's takeover or any of that shite. They're coming here for 3 points. So Eddie Howe needs to have trained them very well in the last couple of weeks to make sure that that doesn't happen, because we need it more than them. And they've got a lot of people out at the minute as well. Been having a look through their injury list. Having a look at them, and they're all foreign as well. And to be honest, I don't really know a great lot about Brentford. So if you're a Brentford fan or a Brentford player and I pronounce the following names wrong, I'm sorry. But Christoph Aja, or is it Aja? I don't know. The lad that we were linked with, Swedish international from Celtic in the summer, turned us down for Brentford. He's a miss. He's one of the defenders, as is Mads Sorensen, Julien Janvier, or Julien Janvier, whatever you call him. Sounds very French. He's out. Their goalkeeper, David Raya, is out. Midfielders, Johan Wisa and Shandon Baptiste are both doubts. Josh De Silva, who scored against us, the winner in the cup last season, 1-0 loss down at Brentford Stadium. He's been out all season, which is a bit of a shame, because he's a good player. I really, really liked him in the Championship. So shame for them, good for us. So yeah, Josh De Silva's still out. And as far as Newcastle goes, though, we only have Paul Dummett out again for, what's this, the third or fourth week in a row? I don't know. Martin Dubravka could start. Eddie Howe's been talking about him so far this season and his fitness. We'll see where we're going with that. Where do I want to be, man? Where do I want to be? I had it all on before here and then showing up late, throwing us right, left, and centre. Where's it gone? Right, so what Eddie Howe says is all the boys except Miguel Almiron are back from international duty. So he's looking forward to seeing him. So we'll see about Miguel Almiron. I remember last time he came back from international duty, he didn't get a place in the squad, I don't think. He was left out entirely, and then a place on the bench the week after, if I'm not mistaken. And he says Martin Dubravka played midweek for his country, but it was his first game in a long time. So you'll have a tough call to make. It is a bit of a strange one that he start. Well, it's not really a strange one playing for Slovakia, because they haven't got a great lot of decent options. Like, he's quite clearly their best goalkeeper, so he's their number one option. If they think he's fit, they're going to start him. Simple as that. But for Newcastle, well, Carl Darlow has been number one for a while, in his absence, of course, not like the actual number one, but Eddie Howe says that is a decision to make there, whether Martin Dubravka starts or will it be Carl Darlow. That is one to look out for. And other than that, that is it. Just have a little look through Eddie Howe's press conference and says what he actually did say. He says, I'd like to think you'll see a team playing in the way I want them to, and in a way befitting to what the supporters want to see. I like to think you'll see a team playing for the supporters, the badge, and doing the city proud, which is brilliant to hear. Just what we want to hear. It says the players have responded really well to what we've been asking them to do. It's been intense, but I don't think we've overworked the players. We've tried to implement our philosophy in a steady way and shape the team in the way that we want to going forward. Again, which is good to hear. Like, you do kind of worry about the intensity. Like, Steve Bruce, like, supposedly had intensity when he first came. I think we were on preseason friendly in China, weren't we? Says he was putting them through like 2-3 training sessions a day, really intense work, and they didn't adapt well to it. They were picking up injuries, they were lacking fitness, but obviously they're going to be lacking fitness now, because that intensity from Steve Bruce seems to dwindle away. Days off, right, left, and centre. They're probably being in the worst condition of their life. So I was thinking, if Eddie Howe's working them to the bone, then it's good long term. But will it have a short term effect on fitness and injury? Like, will they be absolutely knackered? Can they even play? Will they need to be brought on a stretcher? Who knows? But yeah, he says that it hasn't been too bad. Like, yeah, it's been quite intense, but yeah, they haven't been overworked. He's just been doing what's expected of them, really. So we've tried to implement what we feel the players can grasp quickly and leave a few things for the future. It has to be a gradual process, so the players aren't taken to the pitch with overload of information. We need the players to play in a natural way, but in the way that we want them to. So he's implementing his own philosophy, doing his own thing. I think it has to be a very delicate balance to get into. While you're training to what becomes important, because everything should be done in a way that becomes the norm for the players. So he's trying to get them to do what he wants, but not overwork them. So he's looking forward to the challenge. He's under no illusions what our current situation is and what we need to do, aka get out the relegation zone, get some points on the board. He says tomorrow's a massive day for the football club and the atmosphere will be brilliant, and it's going to be a great experience for everyone. He says, so far from what I've seen, they've enjoyed the training. We've covered a lot of our basic principles and that we want to see them deliver, and it hasn't been too complex. The basic fundamentals of how we play, I'd like to think you'll say that tomorrow, so that's great. And talking about Callum Wilson and Ryan Fraser, I think, and Matt Ritchie as well spoke a lot about him in the press conference. He says, particularly on Wilson and Fraser, they had a great relationship in terms of the numbers they delivered. They're two great players individually, but I think like any of the team, you're dependent on the partnerships within the team and playing in unison, and we'll try and recreate that here. So that's pretty much it for team news and Eddie Howe's press conference. Going to come back and have a look through some of your comments, so get them in now so I'll read them before we get into the prediction. Hello, Owen. Good to see you, mate. How catching COVID today feels like the most Newcastle thing ever. Yep. Right. Eddie, how about with the Rona? Hello, Callum Lewis. Good to see you, mate. Yes, we are cursed continuously. Even though we've got bloody, I forgot his name now, Mike Ashley. Tried to erase him from my memory there. Steve Bruce. And today, Lee Charnley. Like, tomorrow really is the dawn of a new era for us. It's the first game with Eddie Howe as the manager. First game post Steve Bruce, and as far as I'm concerned, like, yeah, we had Graham Jones for a few weeks, but that was only a short term. Like, this new era now, first game post Ashley, Bruce, and Charnley, and I cannot wait. Like, yeah, Eddie Howe's the manager. He may not be in the dugout, but he's there with Tyndall and his other assistants who he's been working with for a good few years. So yeah, I'm buzzing, but yeah, we'll still carry a curse. It's gonna happen. Yeah, Graham Jones is going to be in charge for another game. Yeah, but you have to remember that we've been doing things the Eddie Howe way. Graham Jones has maybe been doing things his way, potentially even the Steve Bruce way, the way that we've been playing under him. Like, they weren't great performances. So Graham Jones is now back to like an assistant role, like a coaching role. He's not like the caretaker manager anymore or the interim manager or whatever his role was. Yeah, so we've got Tyndall and the rest of Eddie Howe's coaching team, people that he's been working with for a good few years, people he's got a good relationship with, that understand each other, they've been building things together. So we should still have it. And I say Eddie Howe will be in that year watching probably the TV at home or something like that. So it'll be all right. This is the most unpredictable lineup in so long. Hopefully we'll play 4 at the back and get a result. Yes, thank you, Aaron, for pointing that out, because I probably was going to forget to mention it. It is really hard. Obviously, new manager, new regime. It is really hard to predict. Like, I don't really know what he's going to go with. I've just done my best guess at typical Eddie Howe type formations, things that I've picked up on that he said in the press conference. So yeah, I'm not confident in what I'm going to tell you at all, but it would work, I think, and we'll see, and I'll talk you through it when we get to it. But yeah, very, very unpredictable. With the Chinese stance player missing, I wonder if the human rights issues will be bad at Wolves as they have been. I don't know, mate. That's a political issue for another time. Yes, we are so cursed. Wolf flags will have to change things around. I don't think they will do. They spend a lot of money and a lot of time, a lot of effort, and a lot of preparation in getting things done. They would have had 2 weeks to get this Eddie Howe flag sorted, and now they're going to have less than 24 hours, maybe 16 hours to change things around. It doesn't really seem like it's going to happen. If they do, then fair play to them, credit to them. We're all believing what war flags do. They put on a great display. So if they can change things around in the next few hours, then fantastic. But I don't know. I think they'll probably still go with the Eddie Howe stuff. Eddie Howe's going to be at home on a Zoom call in the changing room with the team before the match. Yeah, makes sense. It's 21st century, guys. We can do it. Like Covers taught us one thing: we can do things digitally. Yeah, Jones and Tyndall in charge. I think they're both going to take control. Got a 2-0 prediction there. Anyone want to get their score and lineup predictions in now? Howe should just be in an earpiece and tell them exactly what he wants to say. Yeah, probably going to be the case. Hello, good to see you again. Good to see all of you. Yeah, again, thank you for waiting. If you were here at 7 o'clock, appreciate it. Tyndall in, confirmed. Yeah, Howe's going to be on a Zoom call. Thank you very much for all this, guys. Brentford are a funny team to judge. Yes, Callum, they are. But we need to get our own back after that hammering in the FA Cup. Yep, hammering in performance. It was only 1-0, so it was a relatively close game on the score sheet. But yeah, they did just batter her. It was a typical Steve Bruce performance. Wasn't even close. They deserved it. The much better team, the team that wanted to win that day, did. So you can't even say that they didn't. You kind of be angry at Brentford. They were just a better team that day. But yeah, we do want to get revenge on that, and we want to suck at them kind of closer to the relegation zone as well, because I think they will be there or thereabouts come the end of the year. They started really well, dipped in form so far in the last 4 games, as I mentioned, especially losing to Norwich and Burnley. So if we can put an L on their record and get a W over them, then we'll be suckering them right into it, which is great for us. Like, I do like Brentford. I would like to see them stay up, but now we're in this relegation zone. Anyone I like or appreciate or respect can get fucked. Newcastle survival over anyone. So, yeah, sorry, Brentford, but we're going to have to do it to you. Good about Eddie. Up the revolution. Time for the Geordies to rise. Good one. William Shakespeare over here. Then number 1 keeper is out, which is good for us yet. David Rea. He's been good this season, and they've lost all 4 games since his injury. Good stat. Thank you very much. Geordie tuned for life. And Miggy was in training today. Yes, he was. Yeah, but I think it's only today that Eddie Howe's really seen him. I'm not sure if he was in the building yesterday, but yeah, Eddie Howe hasn't really met with Miggy much. Other internationals that are back are Dubravka, Jeff Hendrick, Fabian Shaw, and Jamal Lewis. So they've been starting to train this week. So Eddie Howe missed out on them for about a week and a half while they were off on duty. So hasn't really had much time to see any of them, but has had a little bit more time with them than they have with Miggy Almiron. Josh is confident that we'll still win. Played under a ghost for the last 2 seasons and got results. Yeah, sometimes. We stayed in the Premier League at least anyway, yeah. Now we have tactics which are drilled into the players. Yeah, so definitely going to be hoping for a much better performance, even though he's not going to be there. Like I said before, the tactics are being drilled in, the discussions, the training, what we're going to do. Like, I'm sure the players know what the rules are going to be tomorrow. We don't know that yet, but they've had the training. So whether he's in the dugout or not, it shouldn't really matter. And James Tyndall's there. Is it James? Jason? Someone like that? Tyndall? What's he called? Yeah, whatever his name is. Well, we're going to go over here. Here with my 5-0, 150 to 1 on it. I'm not too sure about that one, but if it is, then I hope so. It's a shame about how he's got COVID. Score predictions, anyone? Anyone else want to get them in? Mike's option is a 4-4-1-1, which is similar to mine. Let's have a look. Yeah, so we are going to go in there now. I'll come back to you guys in a moment while I rabbit on a little bit too much. So, going to go into my lineup prediction there then once I get rid of Mighty Mike's comment. Sorry, Mighty Mike. So, this one I wasn't too sure about while I was doing the edits. I kind of put this up last night, and after what Eddie Howe thought, then maybe I'm not too confident anymore. But I did say Martin Dubravka might come back. And I think based on a couple of performances from Carl Darlow, especially that Chelsea game, the last home game, I was there and it really wasn't pretty. I've been saying, like, when Martin Dubravka's fully fit and is back and available, I want to see him in as soon as possible. But based on what Eddie Howe said in his press conference, I'm not entirely sure if that is going to be the case. I think Darlow might start now, thinking about it. So, yeah, we'll see about that one. He did say it's going to be a game day decision to make. So, yeah, we'll have to find out about that. And I'm going to go with a back four, hopefully. Fingers crossed. Obviously, don't want to be saying the back five shit. Not against Brentford, like against like the big boys, like Chelsea and that. You can understand it, but don't try not to pay too much respect to Brentford. We need to go for it. Eddie Howe's kind of trying to put in this attacking philosophy. So, no, I don't want to be seeing back five in the first game. Like, that would be an absolute kick in the dick, that. So, what I am going for is Manquillo keeping his place. Well, actually coming back because he didn't start against Brighton, did he? So, yeah, in a flat back four, Manquillo is definitely better as a full back. I don't really want to see Jacob Murphy as an out-and-out right back, as a right wing back. Then I don't particularly mind. I actually quite like Jacob Murphy as a wing back, but if we're going to play with a flat back four, then Manquillo is without doubt the best right back at the club. Captain Jamal Lascelles, I believe, will be keeping his place. On the left-hand side, going to come back to centre mid alongside Lascelles in a moment, but on the left-hand side, I do think Matt Ritchie will be keeping his place for two reasons. One is the comfortability, knowing what Eddie Howe is and knowing each other. Like Eddie Howe knows Matt Ritchie, Ritchie knows Eddie Howe. I just think it fits. It's like a jigsaw piece. It just goes together. And he's been playing that all season, started every other game so far this season. So, and done all right in some games. I know he gets a lot of stick and everybody wants to say Jamal Lewis come in, which leads on to my second point, that he hasn't seen much of Jamal Lewis yet. Like I say, he's been away on international duty with Northern Ireland. He hasn't had as much time in the last couple of weeks since Eddie Howe's been in as what the other lads would have, like Matt Ritchie. So I just think it makes more sense. Like, obviously, they know each other. Eddie Howe doesn't really know Jamal Lewis just yet. So I think going with this, it would make sense just to keep Matt Ritchie for now. And going back into the middle to partner Jamal Lascelles, this is a big one. Everybody's been talking about wanting Fabian Schär back, which I absolutely agree. I do too. That's another last-minute decision that I made, taking Schär out. As I say about Lewis, Schär's been away on international duty, so Eddie Howe hasn't really seen much of him play. I'm sure he also mentioned how he hasn't really played much this season. Have we even seen him at all? I don't even think he started a game yet this season. So he may be out of match practice. So it would make sense that he's just come back off international duty, hasn't really trained much in the new regime. Eddie Howe doesn't really know his game personally too much. And you could probably say the same about Federico Fernandez. Like, I really, really want to see Federico Fernandez in, but he's been out for the last few weeks. Graham Jones hasn't really taken to him for some reason. I did see a little interview with him outside the training ground where he said that he's just not fit. He's just not available. He's not ready yet. And I think he mentioned something about Fab Schär as well. Fabian Schär's getting there. He's training well. He's doing better. But that's just something up with Fabian Schär at the minute, and nobody's really mentioned it. But yeah, I did see a video with Graham Jones outside the training ground where a fan was asking him about Federico Fernandez, and he just says he's just not there. He's just not fit, not ready. So we'll see about that one. So the main reason that I've gone with Kieran Clark is he's been available. He hasn't been on international duty with Ireland, and he's been playing quite regularly, whether you like it or not. I don't think his performances this season have been too great, but he's more match sharp. He's been ready. He's been training with Eddie Howe and Graham Jones and Tyndall and everyone, whereas Schär hasn't, and we don't really know what the crack with Fernandez is. So by process of elimination, I will say that Kieran Clark keeps his place. Done all right against Brighton. Made the assist, I think, didn't he? Got the header at the back post, dropped down to Isaac Hayden. So Kieran Clark keeps his place for me for another week until hopefully we can maybe see a bit more of Schär and Fernandez. Going to go with a midfield two, kind of like a 2-number-6 formation, like what Eddie Howe tends to like, and that will be Isaac Hayden, of course. But all like Isaac Hayden, we know what he's capable of. But I will be thinking, whether I'm right or not, that John Joe Shelvey might get a start. Maybe not a start necessarily, but I think he'll be involved as Eddie Howe spoke about him a little bit this morning. He did say he picked him out when one of the journalists asked, is there anyone who you like the look of, someone that you weren't really too sure about, or something along them lines? And he did pick out Jonjo Shelvey and says, I knew how good he was, having played against him, but when you work with him, you realize he's an incredible technician and can play all sorts of passes, long and short. In terms of our philosophy, he's someone who'll be very important to us, which sounds great. Like, we all know, and I've been saying for ages, like, Jonjo Shelvey has the capabilities. On his day, technically, he can be one of the best centre mids in the Premier League. He's just a lazy bastard. He just hasn't shown how good he can be in a long, long time, which is the frustration for me. Like, for me, in January, if he's not going to pick up his head over the next couple of months, working with Eddie Howe, when he's bigging him up like that, saying he can be big, get him out the door. He's pissed me off for way too long. But if Eddie Howe's seeing something in him, and we can get back the old Jonjo Shelvey, like the young Jonjo Shelvey that we've seen at Liverpool and at Swansea, and at times we've seen at Newcastle over the years, back like when Rafa was manager in the Championship, the first couple of years up. I think in the 2018 season, we were saying that he was an underdog for a call up to the England squad for the 2018 World Cup. But I think it's since 2018, like 18-19, it's just been shite. It's just been so inconsistent, nowhere near good enough, lazy. Like, this passing ability that he has, he just whacks it. He just doesn't even take a touch, doesn't look up, just whoops it up and makes do whatever you can. So, yeah, he's been a massive frustration for me, Jonjo Shelvey. But if he's going to start working with someone who's going to use his actual abilities and get the best out of him again, then great. I'm more than happy for him to stay at the club and work with Eddie Howe, and hopefully he can mold him into the player that he once was, because he has got great technical ability. He's just been hiding it for the last couple of years. So I was thinking maybe Sean Longstaff might get a start there. There's Joe Willock there as well. I think if we are going to kind of play with two deep line players, like kind of two DMs, number sixes, I think maybe Sean Longstaff might be the better person to go alongside Isaac Hayden than anyone, to be honest. He's another one that's pissed me off a lot lately. Same thing with Shelvey. We know what his capabilities are. We know what he can do. Just hasn't really shown them under Steve Bruce. He's one of the bigger decliners from going from between Rafa Benitez to Steve Bruce. Hopefully we can see a lot more from Sean Longstaff. And if Eddie Howe does kind of like a 2 number 6 role, then Sean Longstaff could be one that's going to thrive off of that, like Jonjo Shelvey. I think he could find a new form, like not really a new position or formation or anything like that. It's not something that he's too unfamiliar with. He's played like in deeper midfield roles before. So yeah, I do think Sean Longstaff would play a good role in a formation like this. But I am going to go with a 4 in the middle as well, which would see wingers in the shape of Saint-Maximin and Ryan Fraser. Now, this one may be a little controversial, might not say this, but for me, Saint-Maximin is better on the wing. I don't mind seeing him in the middle. You kind of get the old school like Thierry Henry vibes, where he's just sprints at players, twisting, turning, jinking and that, cutting in on one side, turning on the other. But I like just nothing more than seeing him rip fullbacks apart, being on the wings, tearing people apart. You can cut in and shoot from the edge of the box, whip a cross in, do all the skills and tricks and whatever he wants to do out wide. May not score as many goals from that kind of position, but it's where I like seeing him. And on the other side, Ryan Fraser, again, comfortable with Eddie Howe, knows his game. Played quite a lot recently, probably the most consistent he's played in a few weeks. Did he play 2 consecutive games with Graham Jones, and then he sat out the Brighton game. He started Crystal Palace and Chelsea and wasn't great. I was definitely happy to see him benched against Brighton because, yeah, them performances weren't great. But he's another one who could now flourish under Eddie Howe. Obviously, he knows his game, just like Matt Ritchie. Them two linking up on the left-hand side, covering for each other. Ritchie on the overlap, coming in, whipping in across, just like he did for the goal against Brighton. So I think Fraser could be rejuvenated here because we've never really seen the Bournemouth Ryan Fraser. The the Ryan Fraser that was linked with like 25 million moves to Arsenal and what he was doing at Bournemouth. Him and Callum Wilson creating goals, scoring goals for fun. I think top of the league in goals and assists combined. Maybe it's been a record as well, actually, if I remember rightly. I think they either had the record, tied, or were second all time for a combination of assists and goals between the two combinations. So, yeah, I think that he could flourish. Maybe not start, but I do think him working on the left-hand side with Matt Ritchie and Callum Wilson being around as well could really be a good way to start. So that's maybe what I would like to see. This would be leaving out Miggy Almiron, as I doubt will start, like I say, just come back from international duty. So maybe he's even be lucky to see Almiron on the bench. So in this formation, I think they're the best two wide players for me. And up front, this is what I'm saying. More of like a 4-4-1-1 with Joey in behind. Obviously, Callum Wilson's going to be up top. The question is who's going to be alongside him if we are going to play with two up top, like Eddie Howe tends to do. Again, Eddie Howe spoke very, very highly of Joe Linton. He said, I think he can be a huge player for us. From what I've seen in training, he's a technical player with very good feet and he's intelligent. Unlocking that talent and ability are things I'm going to make assessments on, but he's got a big part in our future here. Again, which is something that is music to my ears. I've been a big Joe Linton fan for the last year or so. Obviously, his first year with us is less than to be admired. But I think he's come on leaps and bounds, like from at least like the second half of last year, right through to this year. Pressure's off. I think since Callum Wilson walked through the door, pressure's been off of him, obviously, because he's brought in to score goals and be the number 9, which is absolutely criminal because that's not the type of player he is. And especially this season, having the number 9 shirt taken off of him, that the pressure's completely off him now, and I think he's enjoying his football. We can see what he can do, like Eddie Howe says. He's working well, good feet, good technical ability, intelligent, uses his body well, links up play really well. So with Fraser and Fraser and Saint-Maximin cutting in, Callum Wilson being in and around him, Joe Linton to be the big bully up front, control on the chest, flick a header on, them being around him, I think could work really, really well. The only other thing that you could maybe say about this is maybe you could play Saint-Maximin up front in a 2 or in behind and maybe play Joey on the left, Fraser on the right, or bring in Almiron. I'm not too sure, but I think this is the best way for me. This is what I would quite like to see. For now, anyway, until we can further assess other players like Almiron, like Willock, like Jamal Lewis, Sean Longstaff, the defenders in Shaw and Fernandez. So for tomorrow, I think this is a good starting lineup for the first game in the Eddie Howe era against a team like Brentford, which I say before, no disrespect to them, but it's a great opportunity under the circumstances at St. James's, full crowd, first game in the Eddie Howe era, war flags, starting the party off early. We need to make a statement. We need to go out and make sure that we get the 3 points. Whatever the result, we want to play well. We want to win well, of course. But the 3 points are what's most important when you're sitting second bottom of the league, only team in the country who hasn't got a win. 3 points is a must. So I'm going to jump back and see a few comments now. Let's see what you guys are saying. Yeah, so it's going to be rocking. Better style of play. Oh, I'm going for a 4-3. Sorry, didn't know where I got that from. It says 5-4. 5-4 Premier League Classic. We would love to see it. Oi, Jiminy Cricket. Good to see you, sir. Nice to join in with. Paul says a 4-2-3-1. Yeah, that is a formation that I am a fan of. Not sure if it's kind of what Eddie Howe would like to play. I think we've got the personnel to do it. That's been what I've been saying for the last couple of years under Steve Bruce, that's the formation that we should play. So we'd definitely like to see that one. Going for a 3-1 win to the tune. Watford fan in here saying, please buy Saar off us. At least 80 million, but it's 50p for your owners. Anybody else in the comments? 80 million for Saar? Would we do it? Maybe it's a little bit too much. I definitely would like him. Big fan of Saar. 80 million is a little bit too much though, but yeah, I would pay good money for him. Maybe it's half of that. 50%. Buy one, get one free. Will play Shelby by the sounds of it, Paul thinks. New owner, new manager, new ambition. Same old Newcastle. Yeah, right about that. Get Amanda in the dugout. Ooh, that would be good. That would give them a little bit of confidence, wouldn't it? Tony would start Shelvey as well. Seeing a lot of love for John Joe Shelvey in the comments based off of what Eddie Howe's been saying about him in the comments. Ivan Toney, haven't even mentioned the return of Ivan Toney to St James's Park yet. Ian saying a 2-1 win with Toney on the score sheet. I think I've got him in my fantasy team actually, so I wouldn't mind a bit of Ivan Toney on the score sheet as long as he doesn't get any points on the board for Brentford. So Ivan Toney, big one to look out for. Very good player, big fan of him. Shame that we'll let him go, but thrived in the Championship. I think he broke the Championship record last season, didn't he? 30-odd goals, most goals in a Championship season. So, yeah, very good player. Go for 4-2 for Dylan. 4-2 there as well. 5-0. Gary's getting a bit confident, isn't he? Gaz has gone mental. We will get our first win, says Tommy. Very confident about that. I like it. 4-0. 5-1. Joey hat-trick. I hope you're right about that. Did anyone see? I haven't seen that yet. No, I did hear about it earlier on this morning, though, so I'll have a look at that later on. Joe Litton will be good, says Mike. Yep, I agree. Hopefully, Eddie Howe can bring the best out of him. Got a 3-2. Jiminy Cricket's prediction. Dubravka in goal, Richie, Lascelles, Shaw, and Manquillo. Willock and Sean in the middle. We've got John Joe in there as well. Maxi, Joe Litton, and Wilson. Interesting. Jolly Talks going Darlow in goal. Probably agree with you on that one. Manquillo, Lascelles, Fernandez, and Lewis. Hayden and Willock in the middle with Fraser, Joey, Wilson, and ASM. I think that's the team he'll pick. Not my choice, though, but still see us winning 3-0 with that one. Really hope Hendrick and Fernandez never plays for us again, same as Clark. Controversial. Maybe he's a little bit harsh on Fernandez and Clark. Well, particularly Fernandez. We've just got to see how they go, really, how the defenders deal under Eddie Howe, because unless we're going to be playing 5 at the back, there's going to be limited chances for the centre-backs. That includes Emil Kraft as well. So the likes of Kraft, Fernandez, Clark, everyone really, Lascelles and Dummett included, need to pull a finger out, really, to fight for a place in this team. With the January window fast approaching, when them lot are going to need to sort things out. Going to have Darlow, Manquillo, Shaw, and Fernandez. No Lascelles, interesting. Lewis, Shelvey, Hayden, ASM, Willock, Fraser. So that'd be a 4-2-3-1. I like it. Hi, Kate. How we doing? Disappointed that Eddie Howe will not be there tomorrow for the game. Yeah, we all are, unfortunately. Callum saying 3-1 in Newcastle. And my stay on the squad is, will Richie be a left back or Fraser or Richie be on the right wing? Joey behind Callum or on the left, and Maxi on the left, Wilson in behind. Interesting. 3-1 to Brentford. I think you can't be a Newcastle fan. Saying Fernandez and Clark should be gone and then predicting the win to Brentford. Oh, that's not good, that. Richie left back. 3-2 Newcastle. More concerned that Hal won't be able to take training next week. That's true. Yeah, he's going to have to isolate until he can prove some negative tests. So, yeah, that's a shame. No Clark, please, says Tony. Yep, I would agree with that. But as I mentioned before, I think by process of elimination with Eddie Howe not really seeing too much of Fabian Shaw due to international break and Federico Fernandez, we're not really sure what's going on. I think Clark will play personally, but I would be very happy if he didn't. If anyone else came in, then yeah, fair play. Again, another one for Clark. Probably pulls a hamstring. Worst defender. All right, neighbor. Let's have a look. Yeah, old John Joe Shelvey. Hopefully he comes out. Tony again would start Shelvey. Oh, there's loads of comments in here. Jesus Christ, lads, give us a minute. Right, so anyway, I'll come back to that in a sec. Try and get through them all if I can. What I am going to do, though, is show you what I've put for my bench, which is this right here. Darlow on the bench, unless it's Dubravka. That's going to be one to decide. Crafton, Shaw, and Lewis. Oh, I didn't put Hendrick in there. I thought I did put Hendrick in there. Well, I'm quite happy not to have Hendrick in there. Fuck him. Oh, yeah, I think I probably was going to put him in. I was maybe going to put Hendrick in instead of Almiron. I'm not sure if Almiron's going to make the squad tomorrow. Obviously, with him just coming back from international duty, not having much time on the training ground. Eddie Howe hasn't really seen him at all. Probably met for the first time just today. So, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Almiron dropped out and there would be a place there for either Jeff Hendrick or, as you may have noticed, Fernandez isn't there again for another week. Like I say, don't really know what the situation with him is. So at least we've got Shaw come back from international break, had some game time, done well. Switzerland got through to the qualified, so well done to Switzerland. Kraft played for Sweden as well. Lewis with Northern Ireland and Jeff Hendrick with Republic of Ireland all just come back. So they're all players that Eddie Howe hasn't really seen too much of. Kraft, Shaw, Lewis and Hendrick. We've got Sean Longstaff there as well, who I wouldn't be opposed to seeing start. We've got Joe Willock, Jacob Murphy and Dwight Gale as well. And if you just missed it or if you're just tuning in, this is the starting lineup that I've gone with, although it's open for debate. Let's have a look back through the comments. I think I've gone way too far there. Yeah, definitely gone way too far. Swap Fraser and Maxi round. I don't really think it matters whether they're left or right. Like they can both cut in and do well. I think Fraser's is he naturally left-footed? I can't remember. So yeah, they're both comfortable on either flank, so I don't really give a shit, to be honest. Either way around. Right, I think that's going to be about it for me then. Just having a flick through the bottom of the comments. Yeah, that'll do. Right, so that's it for me. Thank you very much for tuning in again, everybody. We will be at the game tomorrow. Me and Renty will be there. Fan cams after the match. Going to see what your thoughts are on the new Newcastle United, the first game in the Eddie Howe era, even though he's not going to be there. So, yeah, be interested to know what you guys think come the end of the game. So come chat to us if you see it. We'll be outside the club shop. Yeah, and that's about it for me. So, yeah, we'll be there. All the match day content to come, match vlog, fan cams, match reaction, player ratings, all of that to come. Thanks very much for tuning in, everyone. Appreciate you as always. Make sure that you like this video. Comment below your prediction, both score and lineup. And most importantly of all, subscribe to the Magpie Channel TV. Enjoy the new era tomorrow and enjoy yourself.